On a gloomy afternoon, tucked away in a small alley behind the towering tech buildings, a homeless black man was scavenging for a few old aluminium cans to exchange for some spare change. Suddenly, something shiny caught his eye. A glimmer of light that stood out amidst the shadows. It was an expensive smartphone, later revealed to belong to billionaire Elon Musk. With hesitant steps, Adam made his way to the police station, hoping to get assistance in returning the phone to its rightful owner. From that moment on, an unexpected series of events unfolded, linking Adam, a man without a home or possessions, to one of the wealthiest men in the world, Elon Musk. But what was even more surprising was Adam's decision to refuse a hefty reward offered by the Tesla CEO, and instead make an unusually request. Was the amount too small for Adam? Did he demand something greater? Or was there an untold secret behind this modest, homeless man? Let's dive into the story to uncover the mystery hidden within his humble exterior. In the dim twilight of the day, Adam sat leaning against the weathered brick wall of an alley near the bustling heart of a tech metropolis. The city rushed past him in a blur of urgency. Luxury cars, well-dressed business people striding down sidewalks, and the reflective glass of office towers showcasing countless cutting-edge devices. Adam, in stark contrast, had nothing but his worn-out clothes and a small bag containing a few scavenged items. As a homeless black man, Adam often faced skeptical or dismissive glances. The hushed whispers, the veiled judgments, those stung more than hunger or the biting cold. Yet, through years of wandering the streets, he held on to a piece of kindness in his heart, a small but unyielding flame that kept him from plunging into despair. Every so often, when someone dropped a wallet, Adam would pick it up and return it with a modest smile. Or when he saw a child separated from their parents, he would go out of his way to help reunite them. These acts didn't fill his stomach, but they helped him hold on to his faith in himself. His temporary refuge was a rundown neighborhood, sandwiched between gleaming skyscrapers. From that shadowy corner, Adam bore witness to the stark contrast between wealth and poverty. Yet he never stopped believing that kindness existed somewhere out there, though it often hid, hesitant to emerge amidst life's relentless storms. That evening, the sky was as gray as a river just before the rainy season. Adam walked slowly along the sidewalk, where a chilly breeze scattered torn, weightless flyers through the air. He searched through a few nearby trash bins, hoping to find some aluminium cans or bits of plastic to sell for a little change to buy bread. Then, suddenly, between a crack in the pavement and a trash bin, something shiny caught his eye. It was a high-end smartphone with an elegant casing, lying there like a misplaced treasure. Adam picked it up gingerly, inspecting it. The phone was locked, revealing neither a name nor a single notification. Yet, with just one touch, he knew this was something of great value. A voice whispered in Adam's mind, "If I sell this phone, I could eat well for weeks." But almost immediately, that thought was extinguished by memories of the times he'd been helped by kind strangers. This phone must belong to someone important, someone who might be desperately searching for it. A valuable item like this wasn't just a tool for communication. It could be the key to a critical job, a vital project, or an indispensable connection. Adam clutched the phone tightly in his hand. He knew that keeping it for himself would be easy, but returning it would be much harder. It would lead him into situations he couldn't foresee. Yet his mind was made up. Instead of thinking about selling it, he decided to return it to its rightful owner. And from that moment, a journey filled with challenges, doubt, and even hope began. As twilight faded, the alley grew crowded with wandering shadows. Adam gripped the phone in his jacket pocket, trying to slip quickly into a safer corner. But before he could turn the corner, he heard murmurs behind him. Seeing the sleek phone in Adam's hand, a group of other homeless individuals gathered around, their eyes filled with greed. At first, their voices sounded friendly, coaxing. "Hey there, buddy. Why don't we sell that phone, split the money, and have a feast? Nothing better than that, huh?" Adam shook his head, his voice trembling but firm. "No, I'm going to return it to its owner." Adam's refusal made the group's demeanor change instantly. A bearded man with scruffy whiskers snarled, his eyes turning menacing. "Hand over the phone," he growled, "or don't make us take it by force." Adam's heart pounded in his chest. He knew if he didn't run, he'd lose not just the phone, but perhaps his safety as well. Without a second thought, he turned and bolted. The sound of heavy footsteps pounded against the damp pavement behind him. Adam weaved through trash bins and mossy walls, finally managing to shake off the group. He stopped in a dark, narrow nook, gasping for air. A few other homeless individuals standing nearby had witnessed the commotion. They shook their heads and called after him, "What an idiot! They're going to beat him to a pulp." But Adam paid no attention to their mocking words. As his breathing steadied, he thought about the only way to both find the phone's owner and avoid falling victim to street crime. He needed the police. It wasn't an easy choice. He was painfully aware of how people like him, homeless, black, were often met with suspicion. But at this moment, no judgment or insult mattered more than protecting this valuable item and returning it to its rightful owner. Adam straightened his tattered jacket and cautiously stepped out of the alley. He made his way toward the police station under the dim glow of the streetlights, their light flickering in the cold air of the waning day. He knew he would need patience. Even if he was doubted or looked down upon, he was determined to do the right thing. The police station was small, tucked between the bustling streets of the city. Adam entered, the fluorescent lights casting a harsh glare on the cold, white-tiled floor. Before he could speak, he noticed the skeptical expression on the officer's face. The officer's eyes scanned Adam's threadbare clothes, his worn-out shoes, and his dark skin. "What do you want?" the officer asked curtly. Adam tightened his grip on the phone, trying to remain calm. "I found this phone. It's locked, but it looks very important. I'm hoping you can charge it so the owner might contact it. Or maybe you can help identify them." The officer snorted, his expression a mix of mockery and suspicion. "Really? Someone like you finds something like this and wants to return it. Doesn't add up." Adam pressed his lips together, then raised his head to meet the officer's gaze. In his eyes there was no fear or deceit, only determination and a deep, weary resolve. He repeated his request, this time shorter but firmer. Faced with Adam's persistence, the officer begrudgingly took the phone and carried it to the back room to charge. Time dragged on. Adam stood waiting in the hallway, the silence broken only by the clattering of a keyboard and the crackling of a police radio. He finally sank into a chair near the station's entrance, curling up slightly to fend off the cold seeping in through the gaps in the door. Just as he sat, the officer received a phone call. On the other end of the line was Elon Musk's assistant, reporting that the billionaire's critical smartphone had gone missing. The assistant described the phone in meticulous detail, its model, color, even the faint scratch on the lower edge, all matching the device Adam had brought in, yet no one said a word to Adam. He remained sitting there, hunched in his thin jacket, the night's chill creeping through the cracks and biting into his already frozen skin. Suddenly, another officer rushed out, holding the phone Adam had handed over. He whispered hurriedly to the officer on duty. Their expressions shifted between astonishment and uncertainty as glances darted between them. A critical call had just come in, a confirmation from an important contact. It was the phone belonging to Elon Musk, one of the most powerful figures in the tech world. The atmosphere in the station immediately shifted. The name Elon Musk made them realize the gravity of the situation. In an instant, their attitude toward Adam changed. Suspicion gave way to hesitation and unease. Although they still hadn't said anything directly to him, the cold, judgmental stares softened. Adam remained silent, his shoulders aching from the long day, the cold night air brushing against the back of his neck. Yet in his eyes, a faint glimmer of hope appeared. He realized he had crossed a crucial threshold of doubt. Whatever was to come, Adam knew he was closer to returning the phone to its rightful owner. The next morning, as Adam sat quietly on the hard wooden bench inside the police station, a sleek Tesla pulled into the parking lot. From inside, a man in a sharp suit stepped out. It was Elon Musk himself. His expression was serious, but there was a trace of curiosity and urgency in his eyes. The police had contacted him during the night, reporting the recovery of his missing phone and the unexpected involvement of a homeless black man. When Elon entered the station, the room seemed to hold its breath. He looked toward Adam, a frail man hunched in a corner of the room. The officer recounted the story briefly, how Adam had found the phone, faced a chase, and risked bringing it to the station to return it. For a fleeting moment, Elon's gaze met Adam's, eyes darkened by exhaustion, yet shining with sincerity. Though Elon's initial reaction held a hint of skepticism, he quickly understood that if Adam hadn't been genuine, the phone would never have made it to the police station. After confirming that the phone was indeed his, Elon turned to Adam, walked over, and extended his hand. The courteous gesture drew a few surprised glances from the officers nearby. In a warm voice, Elon said, "Thank you. This phone contains a lot of critical information. I owe you a favor. Whatever you need, just ask, and I'll make it happen." Adam nervously brushed his hand against his worn pants, gathering his courage. He knew this was a rare moment, a chance to change his life. But Elon's offer didn't make Adam think of himself. Instead of imagining a luxurious apartment or a large sum of money to escape his life on the streets, an image of someone else came to mind. A black woman he often saw in a nearby alley. She wandered the streets with her frail little daughter, the child growing sicker by the day. The mother and daughter couldn't afford medical care, barely surviving as they clung to the hope of a miracle. Adam raised his eyes and spoke slowly, enunciating every word. "I'm deeply grateful for your kindness, but I'm not the one who needs help the most. I'd like to ask you to help a homeless mother and her child. The little girl is very sick, and they can't afford treatment. If you truly want to help, please help them who are lying there out of their minds. This cannot wait. If you truly want to help, please help them." Elon paused, taken aback. The man before him wasn't asking for anything for himself. This wasn't the scenario Elon had imagined. He had expected Adam to ask for money, a place to stay, or at least a job. But here he was, redirecting the focus to a mother and child who weren't even present. People who weren't family. People who had nothing to offer in return for Adam's sacrifice. People who had nothing to offer in return for Adam's sacrifice. "Can you take me to them?" Elon asked, his voice lowering with seriousness. Adam nodded and described the old neighborhood where the woman and her little daughter usually sought shelter under the awning of a store. The little girl was frail, her skin pale, coughing incessantly. The mother, raising her child alone, seemed to have exhausted every avenue of assistance, with every door to help shut firmly in her face. Elon didn't hesitate. He called his assistant, instructing them to prepare a car and coordinate with the best hospital in the city. He didn't just plan to cover the medical expenses, he also intended to arrange temporary housing, medication, and long-term support for the mother and child. Adam stood nearby, watching Elon's serious and genuine demeanor. Only then did he exhale in relief. He had placed his trust in the right person. Though he himself remained empty-handed, he knew this act meant more than any sum of money ever could. When Elon gave a faint smile, Adam felt a warm breeze pass through, as if dissolving the invisible barriers of class, race, and circumstance. Life was lovely, in the brief silence. Two men from completely different worlds shared an unspoken understanding. A single act of kindness could be the seed of many miracles. A few hours later, Elon Musk's car slowly pulled into a quiet corner of the city. Adam stepped out, gently pointing toward the mother and daughter, huddled under the worn-out awning. The little girl lay in her mother's arms, her face pale with exhaustion. The mother's frail figure and anxious, weary eyes revealed a mixture of despair and worry beyond words. Elon took in the scene, his heart tightening. He approached quietly, lowering his head slightly, as if to diminish the gap of status between them. The black woman looked up at him, hesitant at first, but when she saw Adam standing nearby, she seemed to understand. This could be the last chance, the rare miracle, amid the harshness of life. "I will help you and your child," Elon said, his voice short but warm. The mother, her hands trembling, grasped Adam's tightly. Tears streamed down her face, her voice hoarse but full of sincerity. "Thank you. Thank you so much. If it weren't for you, I don't know what we would have done. You're the only one who thought of us when no one else cared." She turned to Elon, her eyes red but brimming with deep gratitude. "Mr. Musk, you haven't just saved my daughter. You've saved our entire lives. I'll never forget this. Truly. Thank you." Elon nodded gently, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder. "We're just doing what's right. Now, focus on your little girl, and let the medical team take care of the rest." With a brief phone call, an emergency medical team arrived shortly afterward. The little girl was carefully placed on a stretcher, wrapped in a warm blanket, and transported to a renowned hospital. The woman smiled through her tears, her gaze full of trust and hope for the two men who had appeared unexpectedly, bringing a glimmer of light to her shadowed life. Under the amber glow of the streetlights, Adam stood beside Elon in silence. Together, they watched the ambulance disappear into the distance, carrying with it hope for a fragile, precious life. At the hospital, the little girl received treatment using state-of-the-art equipment and the care of the finest doctors. Just a few days later, good news arrived. Her condition was under control. The surgery and medication had worked. Her pale skin began to regain its natural glow. Her breathing grew steady, and her eyes soon opened, filled with curiosity and a new-found brightness. Thanks to Elon Musk's financial support, the mother no longer had to lose sleep over mounting medical bills. With his arrangements, she and her daughter were relocated to a small, cozy apartment, worlds away from the dusty street corner they once called home. Though Adam's living conditions hadn't changed much, he felt as though his life had turned a new page. How long had it been since he had last felt this way about his own life? He realized that even the smallest act of kindness, when placed in the hands of someone with the resources and heart to act, could ripple out to nurture many parched lives. Gradually, the story spread across the city. People spoke of him, a homeless black man who could have changed his fortune with a large reward, but instead chose compassion. Some couldn't believe it. Others praised him. Regardless, Adam's name had become a symbol of faith in the enduring power of human kindness. One night, Adam returned to the old street, searching for a narrow spot under an awning to rest. A light drizzle fell, the droplets tracing paths along the pavement, glistening in the glow of neon lights. His thin jacket pockets were no heavier with money than before, but his heart felt strangely warm. He thought of the mother's grateful eyes, the weak yet precious smile of the little girl. As she recovered, he remembered the surprise and respect in Elon Musk's gaze. That fleeting moment when two people from vastly different worlds, races, and classes found a bridge of shared humanity. As Adam sat beneath the makeshift shelter, the drizzle tapped a rhythm on the old metal sheets above him. Suddenly, the public payphone at the corner of the street began to ring. It was a phone rarely used, rusted and often out of order. The sound of the bell cutting through the quiet night made Adam flinch. He hesitated for a few seconds, then stood up and walked toward it. Curiosity etched on his face. Picking up the receiver, he listened intently, unsure of what to expect. "Adam, is that you?" A deep, warm voice resonated through the crackling line. Despite the static, Adam recognized it instantly. It was Elon Musk. He remained silent for a moment, caught between surprise and an unfamiliar warmth. "Elon? Is it really you?" Elon chuckled softly. "Yes, it's me. I asked my assistant to find a way to contact you. I know your circumstances are unstable, so having a mobile phone isn't likely. I remembered this street had a public payphone, and thought I'd take a chance." He paused briefly, his tone becoming more earnest. "I have a few community projects in mind, and I need someone like you, someone who understands life on the streets, who can listen and help connect those in need with the resources they lack. Adam, what do you think?" Adam leaned against the payphone, the cold rain seeping through the gaps in his jacket, yet he felt an unusual warmth spreading through him. He thought of the young mother's grateful eyes, the weak but precious smile of the little girl after being saved. And now this offer from Elon. It wasn't extravagant or flashy, but simple, genuine, and aligned with the nature of a man who had extended his hand to share kindness with him. "Yes," Adam said softly. His voice wavered slightly, but it was the tremor of conviction and hope. "Good," Elon replied. "I'll send someone to pick you up tomorrow morning so we can discuss the details. For now, find yourself a warmer place to stay, all right?" Adam smiled into the receiver. Not a bright, beaming smile, but a warm, knowing one. That night, under the gentle rain, he realized he was no longer alone. The raindrops falling on the awning seemed to whisper a song of a new beginning, where every individual, regardless of their origins, could help heal the wounds of life. Adam was about to join that journey. This story reminds us that no matter how harsh our circumstances may be, kindness and sincerity have the power to bring about miraculous change. A small act of compassion can become a guiding light, bridging people who may seem worlds apart in status, race, or life circumstances. When we place others' needs above our own desires, we not only improve their lives, but also open doors to a more meaningful future for ourselves. Believe in the power of kindness. Be ready to help others and embrace new connections. By listening, understanding, and sharing, seeds of goodness can grow, creating a better world for all. Have you ever found something someone else lost? If you were Adam, would you have done the same? Share your thoughts and feelings in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to like and share this video to spread this meaningful message to more people. Every share helps raise awareness and inspires positive actions in society. If you'd like to hear more inspiring stories and meaningful messages, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Together, we can build a stronger community where justice, kindness, and respect are always the top priorities.